Okay, in this video, we continue step 4, overhead absorption. Okay, after step 3, okay, reapportionment, that means the secondary distribution. Okay, under step 4 is overhead absorption. So, what is overhead absorption? So, this definition is allotments of overhead to cost per unit. So, how we allocate the cost per unit. Okay, how we allocate to the cost per unit by means of rates separately calculated for each cost center. Okay, so under overhead absorption, okay, we have two steps. Okay, number one, we have to calculate overhead absorption rate, OAR. So this is the first one that we have to get, the rate for overhead. Okay, the second one is applications of the rate to cost unit. So we call it overhead absorb. How much we absorb overhead to cost unit. That means to one unit of the product. Okay, so there are two methods here. Okay, so how to calculate OAR? Okay, the first one. Okay, we have to determine from the budgeted estimates of total overhead cost and anticipated levels of activity. So, objective to calculate OAR is for pricing purpose, where a firm must calculate a pricing use some variance of cost plus. So, that means here we have to get the cost. So, we have learned about direct material to get the direct material cost. We have learned direct labor to get variable labor cost or wages cost. Now, we want to get overhead cost. So, in order to get the overhead cost, we must calculate overhead absorption rate, the rate. If material, let's say, RM per meter, okay, direct labor RM per hour. So, overhead RM per how much? So, this is what we want to get. So, this is OAR. So, how to get OAR? OAR is total budgeted overhead for the period. So, must be budgeted overhead total divided by total budgeted units of base for the period total. So the base here, there are many methods. So there is 6 bases that we can use to calculate OAR. Okay. So methods of absorption, if we use departmental rate, okay, several methods can be used to absorb overhead depending on the nature of production activity or the final output. Example, different department might have different bases. So the basis that I just said, I said just now is 6 bases, consists of okay, number one, units of output, direct labor hour, machine hour, direct wages percentage, direct material percentage, and prime cost percentage. So in one department can choose only one of the basis. Okay, so one department only one basis. So we have to choose the most appropriate basis. So the most common methods to be used, it depends on the department. If the departments use more labor compared to machine, is labor hours is more suitable. If the department using more machine compared to labor, machine hours could be appropriate basis. Okay, and then after we get OAR, how we should apply to cost unit, that means to get overhead absorbed. Okay, to get overhead absorbed, okay, these OAR are charged to individual cost unit by using formula. So, how to get overhead absorbed? OAR that we calculated before times with the actual basis used. If your OAR is per labor hour, so the basis here is direct labor hour. If your OAR is based on machine hour, so you have the actual basis is machine hours, actual machine hours. So now we refer to illustration 2. Okay, refer to illustration 2 to illustrate, okay, the overhead absorption. Okay, under departmental rate, okay, so we refer to this company, Intermediate Berhad. Budgeted production overhead, so the total budgeted production overhead is 45,000. Budgeted material cost 15,000. Direct labor cost 45,000. Okay, direct labor hours 30,000, machine hours 22,500, and budget output 3,000 units. So during the period, okay, a job. So a job which that means only one unit of job producing. So using material cost 10 ringgit per job. Direct labor cost 25, 15 hours of direct labor to produce the job. Okay, 7.5 hours machine hours to produce the job, and the number of unit produced for that job is only one unit. So you are required to calculate OAR, overhead absorption rate, using various methods. That means we have 6 methods. So every methods we have to calculate OAR. Okay, and then B, calculate overhead absorb. So from OAR that you calculate in A, absorb the overhead based on the different method. Okay, based on the different method. So first A to get OAR. Okay, OAR, we use the first method is unit of output basis. Okay, output basis. Okay, how to get OAR? Total budgeted production overhead divided by the budgeted basis. So basis here output divided by budgeted output. Okay, refer to the question. Total budgeted production overhead is 45. Okay, refer to total budget is 45,000. Divide by units is 3,000 units. Okay, so OAR is 15 ringgit per unit. Okay, B, you are required to calculate overhead absorb. Okay, how to get overhead absorb? Based on the formula given in the slide, OAR times with the actual base use. So for the job, okay, OAR is 15 ringgit per unit. So this is 15 ringgit per unit times with the unit base. Okay, refer to the job. How many units you produce? Okay, in a job, we have only one unit. So you times one unit. So the overhead that absorbed to the product is 15 ringgit per job. Okay, per unit or per job. Okay, if we use second method, so what is the second method? What is the second basis? It's direct labor hours basis. So how to get OAR? A to get OAR, total budgeted production overhead divided by basis. So basis here direct labor hours, so we divide by direct labor hours. So from the question, total budgeted production overhead for the department is 45,000. Okay, but now basis is not unit. Okay, number one is unit, but number two basis is direct labor hours. So how many direct labor hours? Is 30,000 direct labor hours. So 30,000 direct labor hours divide. So the OAR is RM1.50 per direct labor hour. And then B, we have to absorb OAR. So OAR RM1 per direct labor hour. RM1.50 per direct labor hour times with the actual basis use. So per labor hour we times with the labor hour. Refer to the job. How many labor hours used? Direct labor hours is 15 direct labor hours. So you times with 15 direct labor hours. So 1.5 times 15, you get 22 ringgit and 50 cents for each job, for one job of the product. Okay, so now the third method is machine hours. So under machine hours, it's so same. How to get OAR? The basis will change. Overhead is equal because we use the same production overhead for that for the same department. Okay, 45,000. So machine hours is 22,500 hours. So the rate will be 2 ringgit per machine hour. To get overhead absorb, okay, 2 ringgit per machine hour OAR times with the basis. Actual machine hours is 7.5 machine hours. So you get here 15 ringgit per for the job. Okay, for the job. Okay, then if we use direct wages percentage, direct wages. So direct wages is in RM. Okay, total budgeted production overhead divided by total budgeted wages. Wages means direct labor cost. RM divided by RM. So we times to get the percentage times 100. So 45,000 total budgeted production overhead divided by total budgeted direct labor cost or direct wages. 45,000 divided by 45,000 RM times 100. So we get 100% of direct labor cost. To get the overhead absorbed, OAR, 100% of direct labor cost, you should times with direct labor cost. So the basis here is direct labor cost. So for the job, direct labor cost is 25 ringgit. So 100% times 25 ringgit, you get 25 ringgit for the job that you absorb the overhead. Okay, method number 5 is direct material percentage. Okay, material percentage. Okay, so the total of it is same. Divided by total budgeted material cost times 100 because RM divided by RM. So production overhead is 45,000 ringgit. Direct material cost 15,000 times 100 to get the percentage. So you get here OAR is 300% of direct material cost. Okay, to get overhead absorbed, OAR 300% of direct material cost times with the actual basis must be material cost per job. So for the job, material cost is 10 ringgit. So 300% times 10 ringgit, you get 30 ringgit for the job. Okay. And then the last method is prime cost percentage. So what is prime cost? Okay, prime cost is all direct cost. Overhead is indirect cost. Prime cost is all direct cost. So direct cost consists of direct material plus direct labor plus direct expenses. So these are prime cost. Okay, so total budget overhead is 45,000 divided by prime cost. So prime cost that you have is material 15,000. From the question, we have material. Okay, 15,000. Okay, material cost is 15,000 and direct labor cost 45,000. So no direct expenses. So it's only 2. If you have direct expenses, you have to add up also. Okay, so 45 divided by 15 plus 45 times 100. So you get 75% of prime cost. Okay, to get overhead absorbed, OAR, 75% of prime cost times prime cost actual for the job. So for one job, okay, for this job is 10 ringgit for material, 25 ringgit for labor. So if you have direct expenses, you plus direct expenses. So 10 plus 25, direct material plus direct labor. So you get here 26.25 ringgit for a job. So if you compare, okay, we have 6 bases here. How much you absorb the overhead to a job, okay, the amount will be different. If you use output, so you charge overhead to the job 15. If you use direct labor hours, the overhead that you charge to the job is 22.50 cents. Okay, so machine hours you have 15 ringgit, direct wages percentage 25 ringgit, okay, material percentage is 30 ringgit, and prime cost percentage is 26.25 ringgit. So if there is different amounts of overhead used, overhead absorbed to the job, we have to choose one of the method which is the most appropriate because different method will give you different answer. So that's why we have to refer to the nature of the production. Okay, so if the department is using more machine hours, so the most appropriate will be machine hours. If they use more labor, the most appropriate will be labor hours. So how about direct wages percentage? Direct wages percentage we can use if all the workers receive the same amounts of wages. So everybody will get 15 ringgit per hour. So nobody will get different amount of wages. So the rate will be same. So we can use direct wages percentage. Okay. For unit basis, we can use if the unit of output, all the output that you produce is the same types of output, the same using material, labor, and overhead. That means the identical product. But if the product is not identical, it's not suitable to use units of output. Material cost and prime cost normally do not use, okay, but there is a methods in the calculation, but normally it's not used because there is a material cost and prime cost is not the most appropriate factor that influence the overhead cost. So we may use, okay, it depends on the department. So if you want to calculate, you refer to the question, okay. it depends on which department to use which method. Okay, thank you for overhead absorption using departmental rate. So that means one department, one rate. Different department will be different rate or may use different basis.